There comes a moment in every life when the noise gets quiet and the truth finally speaks. You can keep pretending that the next win will fix everything, or you can face the real question sitting in front of you. Who are you becoming while you wait? Because success does not just test your talent. It tests your identity. It checks your patience, your discipline, your honesty, your consistency, and your ability to stay grounded when nothing around you feels stable. Many people want the reward, but they have not yet built the person who can carry it. Many people want the open door, but they have not yet prepared the mind that can walk through it without losing itself. That is why this message matters. It is not about chasing applause. It is about building substance. It is about becoming someone strong enough to handle a good life without collapsing under the pressure of it. You have probably felt the sting of delay. You have probably watched others move faster, shine sooner, or seem more certain while you were still fighting through your own confusion. That feeling can make you question your worth. It can make you doubt your path. It can make you believe that maybe you missed your chance. But delay is not always denial. Sometimes delay is training. Sometimes life is not saying no. Sometimes life is saying not yet, because what is coming is bigger than what you are ready for right now. And that can feel painful, because growth rarely announces itself in ways that feel comfortable. Growth often looks like repetition. It looks like showing up again after disappointment. It looks like starting over with less confidence than before, but with more wisdom in your bones. It looks like doing the same right thing when no one is giving you credit for it. That is how strong people are made. Not in perfect moments, but in repeated honest effort. The world teaches people to focus on results first. It teaches them to ask how much money, how much attention, how much status, how much speed. But the deeper truth is that what you become decides what you can keep. A person with no discipline cannot keep freedom. A person with no self-respect cannot keep healthy relationships. A person with no patience cannot keep peace. A person with no character cannot keep influence without misusing it. This is why the inner life matters more than the outer image. You can build a life that looks successful and still feel empty inside if you ignore the foundation. You can reach the top and still feel unsafe if your mind never learned how to stand there with clarity and calm. Success without structure becomes stress. Success without values becomes chaos. Success without maturity becomes a lesson you may lose. So start here. Stop treating your current season like a verdict. It is not a final sentence. It is a workshop. This season is shaping your focus, your nerve, and your self-control. It is revealing what controls you, what drains you, what motivates you, and what still needs to be strengthened. Every time you keep your promise to yourself, you add another layer of trust to your own life. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you become a little harder to break. Every time you face discomfort without running from it, your confidence grows in a way that no compliment could ever produce. Confidence built on applause disappears quickly. Confidence built on proven effort stays with you. It tells you, I have done hard things before. I can do hard things again. That is why your habits matter so much. Habits are not small. Habits are the quiet architecture of a future. The way you wake up, the way you speak to yourself, the way you handle frustration, the way you recover after mistakes, the way you spend your mornings, the way you respond when nobody is pushing you, all of it becomes the blueprint for your life. If your days are uncontrolled, your future will feel unstable. If your mornings begin with anxiety, comparison, and distraction, the rest of the day often follows that same pattern. But if you begin with intention, you give your mind a stronger direction. You do not need a perfect routine. You need a reliable one. You need a life that starts to trust itself. You need small promises kept consistently until your identity begins to change. You may be carrying disappointment from a dream that did not happen on time. That disappointment is real. Do not pretend it does not hurt. Some of the deepest pain is not from failure itself, but from the meaning we attach to it. We start calling ourselves late, unworthy, weak, or forgotten. But those labels are not facts. They are wounds talking. A setback does not define your future. A bad chapter does not erase the rest of the book. The outcome of one season does not decide the value of your entire life. You are allowed to be hurt and still move forward. You are allowed to grieve what did not work and still build something new. You are allowed to feel tired and still refuse to quit. Strength is not pretending nothing is wrong. Strength is looking at what is wrong and choosing not to let it own you. There is a version of you that already knows how to survive. But survival is not the final destination. You were not made only to endure. You were made to grow, to rise, to contribute, to create, and to live with meaning. That requires more than hope. It requires standards. It requires the decision that your future deserves more than random effort. It deserves discipline. It deserves focus. It deserves honesty. It deserves people, places, and habits that support your growth instead of shrinking it. You cannot keep feeding your mind with excuses and expect your life to become powerful. You cannot keep living in distraction and expect deep progress. You cannot keep waiting for motivation to rescue you. Motivation is useful, but it is not loyal. Discipline is what remains when the feeling fades. Discipline is what carries you through the boring middle, the uncomfortable practice, the unseen repetition, and the days when progress is too slow to applaud. And yes, there will be days when you feel like nothing is working. There will be days when your effort seems invisible. There will be days when you question whether anyone notices the battles you are fighting. But your growth is not invalid just because it is quiet. Some of the most important progress happens in silence. The mind becomes steadier in silence. The heart becomes tougher in silence. The character becomes deeper in silence. This is where many people quit because silence does not feed the ego. Silence does not hand out instant proof. Silence asks you to trust the process before you can trace the results. That is uncomfortable, but it is also where power is born. If you can stay faithful in the quiet seasons, you will not crumble when the louder seasons arrive. Think about what success really asks from you. It asks for consistency when excitement fades. It asks for humility when recognition comes. It asks for restraint when temptation appears. It asks for courage when fear tries to speak louder than truth. It asks for maturity when setbacks try to make you emotional. It asks for patience when your timeline does not match your hope. Most of all, it asks for identity. Because if you do not know who you are, every win will confuse you and every loss will devastate you. But when your identity is built on something steady, you can move through both with balance. You can win without arrogance. You can lose without collapse. You can grow without losing yourself. That is a powerful life. Not a perfect life. A powerful one. A life where pressure does not erase your values. A life where failure becomes instruction, not identity. A life where you understand that the real treasure is not only what you get, but who you become while getting it. This is why some people finally receive what they prayed for and still feel unprepared. They reached the destination but never built the strength to enjoy it. They got the platform but never built the character to stand on it. They got the money but never learned peace. They got attention but never learned discernment. Do not rush that kind of outcome. Build first, strengthen first, learn first, mature first. Because what you can keep is always connected to what you have become. So when the days feel slow, keep going. When your confidence dips, keep going. When your plans get delayed, keep going. When people misunderstand your pace, keep going. When doubt tries to talk you out of your purpose, keep going. Not blindly, not carelessly. Keep going with intention. Keep going with standards. Keep going with a clearer mind than yesterday. Keep going with a stronger spine, a calmer heart, and a refusal to surrender your future to the mood of the moment. You do not need to be the loudest person in the room. You need to be the most dependable person in your own life. That is where greatness begins. The path ahead may still feel uncertain, but uncertainty is not the enemy. Weakness without honesty is the enemy. Laziness disguised as fear is the enemy. Constant distraction is the enemy. Self-betrayal is the enemy. You do not defeat those things by wishing harder. You defeat them by building habits that respect your future. You defeat them by protecting your time. You defeat them by telling yourself the truth. You defeat them by refusing to break promises to your own soul. Every time you do what you said you would do, your confidence rises a little. Every time you choose growth over comfort, your identity becomes stronger. Every time you stay committed after the excitement is gone, you become dangerous in the best way. You become steady. You become trustworthy. You become difficult to shake. And that is what success needs. It does not need a perfect person. It needs a prepared one. It needs someone who can handle pressure with a clear mind. It needs someone who can receive opportunity without wasting it. It needs someone who can carry responsibility without resenting it. It needs someone whose habits are strong enough to support the life they are asking for. So stop waiting to feel ready before you begin. Readiness is often built by starting. Courage is often built by acting before the fear disappears. Strength is often built by staying one more day than you wanted to. Progress is often built one decision at a time. Maybe you are in a season where all you can see is what has not happened yet. The job has not come. The relationship has not healed. The money has not grown. The dream still feels far away. But do not let the distance between now and your goal convince you that you are losing. Distance is not failure. Distance is just evidence that there is work to do. Work can be done. Work can be learned. Work can be improved. Work can be repeated until excellence starts to form. And while you work, something even more important is happening. You are changing. Your patience is expanding. Your judgment is sharpening. Your emotional control is improving. Your self-respect is growing. Those things will matter long after one single result arrives. There is a quiet dignity in becoming the kind of person who does not need constant rescue. A person like that understands how to rebuild after disappointment. They understand how to pause without giving up. They understand how to stay humble when things go well and stay steady when things go badly. They do not make life easier by magic. They make life stronger by design. That is available to you too. You do not have to wait for a new personality. You do not have to wait for a dramatic sign. You can begin with one honest choice today. One better decision. One clearer boundary. One stronger morning. One more focused hour. One less excuse. One more act of discipline. Those small things are not small when repeated. They become identity. Maybe people around you do not understand the season you are in. Maybe they only see your pauses, your mistakes, your unfinished plans. Let them misunderstand. Your job is not to perform for their comfort. Your job is to become. Growth is personal before it is public. Healing is personal before it is visible. Discipline is personal before it is admired. If you keep building with patience, the results will eventually speak louder than your excuses ever could. And when they do, they will not only show what you achieved, they will show who you became to get there. So keep your eyes on the foundation. Build your mind. Build your discipline. Build your character. Build your standards. Build your ability to stay calm under pressure. Build your ability to keep going when life feels heavy. Build your ability to succeed without becoming fragile. Build yourself before success arrives, because success will not invent you. It will reveal you. It will expose what was strengthened and what was ignored. That is not something to fear. That is something to respect. It means you have the chance right now to prepare for a better life by becoming a better version of yourself. The future you want is not only waiting for talent. It is waiting for maturity. It is waiting for resilience. It is waiting for self-respect. It is waiting for discipline that does not quit. It is waiting for a person who knows how to stay grounded when life finally opens up. Be that person. Keep building. Keep learning. Keep recovering. Keep showing up. The right season will not be wasted on the right character. And when your moment comes, you will not just receive success. You will be able to hold it, protect it, and grow with it. There is a lie that many people carry for years. It says that life will finally feel easy once the breakthrough arrives. But easy is not the same as strong. Easy can make people soft. Easy can make people careless. Easy can make people forget the discipline that brought them forward. Strong people do not wait for comfort to begin their work. They learn how to stay focused even when life is messy, even when emotions are heavy, even when the future feels unclear. They understand that pressure is not always punishment. Sometimes pressure is proof that something important is being formed in them. A weak structure can be crushed by pressure, but a built structure can become more stable because of it. That is why the hard days are not wasted. They are teaching your mind how to stand. Maybe you have been comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. That comparison can steal more energy than failure itself. It makes you feel late before you have even begun. It makes you judge your progress by somebody else's pace. It makes you forget that growth is not a race with a single finish line. Real growth has seasons. It has pauses. It has stretches where the surface looks still while the roots are spreading deeper. When you compare yourself to others, you lose sight of your own building process. You do not need their timeline. You need your own truth. Your only job is to keep becoming better than you were yesterday. That is enough to build a future with weight in it. The strongest people are not always the loudest. Often they are the ones who learned how to continue quietly. They learned how to arrive on time. They learned how to finish what they started. They learned how to keep promises when nobody was watching. They learned how to face discomfort without making a dramatic speech about it. They learned that character is not a costume you wear in public. Character is what remains when the room is empty and the pressure is real. If you want a life that lasts, you need that kind of strength. Not a performance. A foundation. Not a mood. A method. Not a burst. A pattern. Greatness lives in patterns more than in moments. And patterns begin with decisions. The decision to get up instead of snoozing the alarm again. The decision to read instead of scroll. The decision to train your focus instead of letting it scatter. The decision to speak kindly to yourself instead of feeding your mind insults. The decision to prepare before you feel inspired. The decision to stay when quitting would be easier. These are the quiet victories that nobody posts online, but they build lives that can actually withstand pressure. Every repeated choice becomes a voice inside you. If you repeat weakness, weakness starts sounding normal. If you repeat discipline, discipline starts sounding normal. That is how identity shifts. Not overnight. Not by accident. By repetition. One of the hardest things in life is learning not to abandon yourself in difficult seasons. When the bills are heavy, when the work is slow, when your efforts are overlooked, when you are exhausted and unsure, there is a temptation to turn against yourself. You start saying things you would never say to someone you love. You start calling yourself a failure. You start treating a temporary struggle like a permanent identity. Stop doing that to yourself. Your pain deserves care, not cruelty. Your future deserves patience, not panic. Your heart needs honesty, but it also needs encouragement. Tell yourself the truth without destroying yourself with it. Say, this is hard, but I am still here. This is taking time, but I am still learning. This is not the end, and I will not speak like it is. There is power in becoming someone who can be trusted by their own word. If you say you will work, work. If you say you will rest, rest. If you say you will protect your focus, protect it. If you say you will stop feeding a habit that weakens you, stop feeding it. Self-trust does not come from dreams. It comes from follow-through. And when self-trust grows, fear loses some of its grip. A person who trusts themselves can make decisions faster, recover faster, and move forward with less noise in their mind. They are not perfect. They are dependable. They know that every small act of integrity strengthens the whole life. That is why hidden discipline matters so much. What you do in private becomes the shape of your public life later. Do not underestimate the cost of distraction. Distraction is not harmless. It steals focus, yes, but it also steals self-respect. Every time you choose instant comfort over meaningful effort, a part of you learns to settle. Every time you delay the hard task for the easy one, your future becomes a little more expensive. Many lives do not collapse from one major failure. They slowly weaken through 1,000 tiny compromises. One more wasted hour. One more excuse. One more promise broken to yourself. One more day of saying tomorrow when today was available. But the reverse is also true. 1,000 tiny acts of discipline can heal a life. 1,000 small choices to show up can turn chaos into stability. You are not powerless here. You can begin changing the shape of your future through what you honor today. Maybe nobody taught you how to build confidence the right way. Real confidence is not pretending you have no fear. Real confidence is having evidence that you can do hard things. It comes from surviving what once intimidated you. It comes from seeing yourself keep moving after disappointment. It comes from practicing your craft, learning from mistakes, and refusing to let one rough day speak for your entire life. Confidence is not a mask. It is a memory. It remembers every time you were afraid and acted anyway. It remembers every time you felt uncertain and still took the next step. It remembers every time you wanted to stop but decided to continue. That memory becomes a quiet force inside you. The more you build it, the less you need approval to keep going. Do not wait for a perfect environment to become serious about your life. Perfect conditions rarely arrive. There will always be something inconvenient, something unfinished, something uncertain. The people who rise are not the ones who wait for ideal conditions. They are the ones who work with what they have, where they are, and while they are still imperfect. They use what is in their hands instead of complaining about what is missing. They turn small spaces into training grounds. They turn limited resources into creative progress. They turn lonely seasons into disciplined seasons. They become builders instead of spectators. And when the time comes, they are ready because they have been preparing in places that nobody applauded. That is the kind of person this message is calling you to become. Someone who does not fold under pressure. Someone who does not confuse setbacks with identity. Someone who does not make a permanent decision based on a temporary feeling. Someone who understands that pain can be a teacher if you let it. Someone who can stay humble when things improve and stay steady when things fall apart. Someone who does not need life to be easy in order to be effective. Someone who knows that becoming is a daily practice. Not a fantasy. Not a slogan. A practice. It happens in how you speak, how you work, how you recover, how you repeat, how you focus, and how you decide what kind of life you will no longer accept. When the old version of you tries to take back control, do not panic. Old patterns often get loud right before they lose their place. They try to make the familiar feel safer than the future. They try to convince you that change is too hard, that growth takes too long, that discipline is too strict, that comfort is enough. That voice can be persuasive because it sounds like relief. But relief is not always freedom. Sometimes relief is just surrender dressed up as peace. True freedom often asks more from you at first. It asks for boundaries. It asks for effort. It asks for delayed gratification. It asks for a stronger yes and a cleaner no. But on the other side of that asking is a life you can actually respect. There is no shame in rebuilding slowly. Some lives need a full reconstruction. Some minds need patient healing. Some habits need firm replacement. Some hearts need time to trust again. Do not rush your rebuilding just to look stronger to other people. Build it right. Build it in layers. Build it with truth. Build it with patience. Build it with standards that remain even when emotion fluctuates. A rushed life may look impressive for a moment, but a solid life lasts. You do not need to rush to prove yourself. You need to rise in a way that will hold your future. That is a different kind of strength. It is quieter, deeper, and far more powerful. Remember this clearly: the goal is not to become a machine. The goal is not to become numb. The goal is to become steady. Steadiness means you feel, but you are not ruled by every feeling. Steadiness means you care, but you are not crushed by every setback. Steadiness means you want more, but you can wait without falling apart. Steadiness means your effort is not dependent on applause. Keep moving. Your future is built by your daily choices.